I'm not going to ignore, nor am I going to take my eyes off of what transpires with the WNBA over the next 2 weeks while Caitlin Clark is out with the quad strain.
How does the WNBA go from record-breaking viewership to a total ratings collapse almost overnight? Just last week, 17,000 fans filled the arena to see Caitlin Clark. This week, entire sections are empty. Caitlin Clark's injury isn't just her personal setback, it's exposing the deeper flaws within the league. And Stephen A. Smith isn't holding back. Stay tuned to see just how serious this fallout really is.
The Indiana Fever announced that star Caitlin Clark will be out at least 2 weeks with a left quad strain. Clark reported some pain in her leg Saturday after the team's loss to the New York Liberty. She subsequently underwent an MRI and was diagnosed with the strain on Monday.
Caitlin Clark wasn't just another rookie. She was the WNBA's heartbeat, a first-year player pulling ratings the league had only dreamed of. She filled arenas game after game and turned merchandise into cash. 6 different networks broke viewership records thanks to her. Numbers that were once fantasy for women's basketball became routine. But here's the issue. While Clark raised the league's profile, the league did shockingly little to raise or protect her in return.
It's no fault of Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark balled. She balled at Iowa in college. She's balled since she's been in the NBA. She came into the league last year with no break whatsoever between the college game and the pro game and did her thing. Ended up as an all-star, ended up being 4th in the league in MVP voting.
Game after game, Clark was on the receiving end of physical targeting. Hard fouls, flying elbows, and rough contact that crossed the line for professional play happened over and over. Yet the refs stayed quiet. The league, completely absent. It got so obvious that Stephen A. Smith didn't just comment, he outright blasted the WNBA, calling it a clear case of institutional neglect.
It's understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark, it's about what she represents. My point is, grow up. Who cares? If you're Magic and Bird, that didn't stop Jordan from coming along and doing what he did.
A league allows its most marketable star to be hit, hacked, elbowed, and basically assaulted every game without action. That's not oversight, that's neglect. Smith said, "How can you let the one player carrying the league get treated like that?" But this went beyond just bad officiating. There was something more, an undercurrent of tension that Stephen A. wasn't afraid to address.
I'm not going to go to word hate. I'm not going to be out there like RG3 was saying that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark or other players hate Caitlin Clark. But I will say this. I don't think it's specific about Caitlin Clark. I think it's what Caitlin Clark represents.
Some veterans and league insiders didn't even try to hide their envy over Clark's rapid stardom. There were players in this league watching this young white girl explode onto the scene, and they resented it. Stephen A. didn't mince words. Resentment is ugly, but when someone triples your attendance and becomes the sport's face overnight, it doesn't sit well with those who've spent years grinding in the shadows.
We know what she brings to the table, but people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm, and they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had.
That resentment wasn't just quiet talk behind closed doors. You could feel it during the games. The physical play Clark dealt with didn't seem accidental. It felt deliberate. A hard foul here, a sly elbow there, all while the officials looked the other way. The league should have stepped in with clear oversight, setting a strong message that dirty play wouldn't fly, especially toward the star player drawing all the hype and revenue. Instead, silence.
They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlin Clark got here, and y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now, the young white girl comes along, and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along.
It's no surprise Stephen A. called the league's response brand malpractice. And the worst part? Clark wasn't just excelling on the court. She was doing the league's job better than the league itself. She made women's basketball exciting again. Fans didn't show up for the WNBA. They showed up for Clark. Entire arenas were electric because of her.
I could give a damn about that last one. I don't care about her leading the league in assists. I don't care about the points that she's averaging because I already know that the young lady can ball. She is special.
People who'd never paid the league any attention suddenly couldn't get enough. Her rookie season didn't. Just bring big numbers. It sparked a movement. So how did the WNBA thank her? By letting her take beatings on the court, making her risk her health, and acting like it was business as usual. That's not support, it's neglect.
This increased physicality that Caitlin Clark has been dealing with, it's been going on for over a year now. Why in the hell has Kathy Engelbert not stepped in and done something about it? Over the weekend,
This wasn't just a fumble, it was sabotage. Clark wasn't just having a great rookie year, she was rewriting history. And now it's all paused because of an injury that many believe was avoidable. If only the league had stepped up and protected her. This wasn't bad luck. It was the outcome of a system that clearly wasn't prioritizing Clark. Treating your biggest star like just another player has now put the entire league at risk.
Now we get to turn around and look and see what exactly is it that the league will do knowing that she's out for the next 2 weeks. I'm not saying I know for sure what's going to happen, but I have an idea. We shall see. We'll definitely be watching.
The real tragedy isn't just that Clark got injured. It's how preventable the whole thing was. Her rise was a lifeline for the WNBA, but the league didn't seem ready to grab hold. Now the damage is visible everywhere. Empty seats, plummeting ratings, and a league in crisis. This is no longer just about Caitlin Clark. It's about the chaos her absence has triggered.
now they have to rely on themselves to draw an audience. With the current CBA expiring and negotiations for increased minimum wage salaries beginning, this injury to Caitlin Clark, it could not have happened at a worse time for the players who hate her.
When Caitlin Clark joined the roster, the WNBA experienced something brand new: relevance. Her games turned into must-watch events, peaking at over 1.17 million viewers. For a league used to scraping by with smaller audiences, this was unexplored ground. But now that she's out, the viewership has crashed, down to just 394,000. From 117 million to 394K. Let that sink in.
Guys, today the WNBA without Caitlin Clark remains an attraction that not many people want to watch.
That's not just a decline, it's a full-blown crisis. This isn't about fans casually drifting away. It's the very framework of the league crumbling without one player. And it's more than just TV ratings. Look at the Indiana Fever. They went from rapid ticket sales to cutting prices in half. Yet even then, the seats remain empty. Whole sections that were once electric, now completely dead.
Now, I'm not asking you to compete with the Indiana Fever, because we know nothing in this league can compete when Caitlin Clark is playing for the Indiana Fever. Nothing in this league measures up to that.
We're not dealing with minor drops here. This is a complete vanishing act by the fans. Sure, losing a star always impacts attendance, but not to this level. It's almost unheard of in professional sports. One player's absence has caused a chain reaction we've never seen before.
The WNBA's got a real ratings problem, okay? The ratings came out for the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark game. I saw some people actually trying to spin this as a positive, and I was like, they're like 235,000 viewers. How is that a positive?
Just think about it. TV networks that were celebrating record numbers during Clark's rookie season are now struggling to hold onto any audience. Those high-def replays showing off her deep three-point shots, gone. The viral clips that took over social media, vanished. Now they're trying to hype up games most fans just don't care to watch.
They've gone down. Since 2023, folks, they have gotten down. in viewership. Caitlin Clark skews that number for last year because millions of people tuned in. But as far as non-Caitlin Clark games, the numbers have been still going downward.
This goes beyond just an injury keeping Clark off the court. What we're seeing is a league exposed for leaning too heavily on one player. It's like trying to build a skyscraper on a shaky foundation. Once she goes down, the whole structure begins to crumble.
People would tune in. It's the casual viewers that make all this work, not the hardcore fans. It's the casual viewers that are pulling in these big ratings. Oh, Caitlin Clark's playing, the casual is going to tune in.
Let's take a closer look. When Clark was active, WNBA merchandise flew off the shelves. Her jerseys were constantly sold out, and for once the league was riding a wave of major public interest. But now that she's out, those sales have taken a nosedive. Hardcore fans might still be shopping occasionally, but the momentum, the frenzy, the Clark-driven boom, gone in an instant. That nightly thrill of watching history unfold, it's vanished.
In my opinion, the WNBA still has a major problem with the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark still looking like the only draw. In my opinion, these ratings are pathetic, and the leagues to change the rules to make the game more enjoyable.
There's also something harder to measure, a kind of why even bother mood taking over among fans. With Clark on the floor, it wasn't just about the points or the highlight reels. It was about the atmosphere she created. Her games were events, not just matchups. People circled the dates, rushed for tickets, and didn't want to miss out. Her absence isn't just hurting stats, it's draining the life out of the entire.
Since these Fever Mystics WNBA game averaged 357,000 viewers on NBA TV. That was without Caitlin Clark. But that's still way off. I mean, the previous NBA TV game against the Dream averaged 581,000 with Caitlin Clark playing.
But here's the real issue. How did the WNBA even allow this to happen? Everyone saw how central Clark was to the league's success, yet there was no clear plan in place if she went down. Her injury didn't just reveal their dependence. It exposed just how shaky the whole setup is. Build your hype around one player and have no safety net? Calling that risky is putting it mildly.
And if this team plays like it played last night, the WNBA's got a serious problem. Okay? Because let's say you were still keeping some casual viewers, you will lose them if they believe this team is not good.
This isn't simply a drop in ratings. It's a reflection of poor leadership and a lack of long-term vision. The stats are undeniable, and the league's weakness is now on full display. The aftermath of Clark's injury keeps growing wider. But the real question is, how did they let their biggest star get treated like an afterthought in the first place?
Unfortunately, though, the celebration in the WNBA, it was cut short yesterday afternoon as WNBA players learned the harsh lesson: be careful what you wish for.
Now let's talk leadership, because this disaster didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was the result of poor planning. Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back either. He called the WNBA's handling of Caitlin Clark a masterclass in mismanagement. And honestly, he's not wrong. He aimed straight at the top, blaming Commissioner Kathy Engelbert for failing to protect Clark, and ultimately, failing to protect the league's future.
The matter is that it has to start somewhere. And if it starts somewhere, a rising tide lifts all boats. You jump on that tide, you jump on that boat, and elevate and use them to elevate your play, or to elevate the attention you garner. It's very simple, but people didn't want to do that.
According to him, Clark wasn't being treated like the generational talent she clearly is. Instead, the league acted like her rise was routine, like stars with her kind of marketability show up all the time. Newsflash, they don't. Smith wasn't done either. He called out the rough treatment Clark endured all season, comparing it to something you'd expect from an NFL highlight reel. A wild exaggeration, until you realize how little the WNBA actually did to stop the hits she was taking.
6 different league television partners. This is last year. This is last season, because this is Caitlin Clark that we're talking about. 6 different league television partners set viewership records that year, her rookie year, for its highest viewed WNBA game.
Protect her, he said flatly, emphasizing how simple the answer should have been. Clark wasn't just a standout rookie. She was the main reason thousands of new viewers were even tuning into the WNBA. But instead of recognizing that instead of enforcing tighter foul rules or improving officiating, they let her absorb elbows and hits week after week. It wasn't just neglect, it was pure recklessness.
Caitlin Clark appears to be hunted every game. She deals with physicality that no other player in the league is dealing with. Whether the injury was caused by other WNBA players or whether this quad strain is 100% basketball related, it really doesn't matter, because now jealous and resentful WNBA players, they're on their own.
Stephen A. Smith didn't stop with player safety. He took aim at what he called brand malpractice, accusing the WNBA of failing its one job, to recognize its golden goose and help her shine even brighter. He summed it up in a brutal line. The WNBA had the golden goose and treated her like a regular bird. That sting, it landed hard, because it was true.
Became the first rookie with at least 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds in a playoff game. That was Caitlin Clark. Became the 4th different rookie to play all 40 minutes in a playoff game. That was her.
Just think, Caitlin Clark packed arenas, triggered record smashing, viewership, and had fans snatching up her jerseys faster than the league could print them. But the marketing? Barely there. Instead of leaning into her star power, the WNBA treated her rise like any ordinary storyline. Her energy was contagious, but the league missed its chance to harness it.
I ain't gonna mention no names, but y'all know who they are, and they didn't want to do that. And I'm not talking about players and just players. Talk about announcers too. Talk about pundits as well. There's a whole bunch of people that didn't want to give Caitlin Clark her shine.
What made it worse was the resentment bubbling beneath the surface. Smith pointed out the jealousy that quietly emerged from some veterans and even league officials. You had players in this league watching this young white girl storm in and dominate, and they hated it, he said. It's a harsh take, but it offers a rare, honest glimpse behind the scenes.
Do you know every one of those games included the Indiana Fever? I mean, am I just making this up? Every one of the games included the Indiana Fever. You think that's an accident?
No one wants to admit that egos and internal politics can ruin something this massive, but the warning signs are obvious. Was the league too cautious about fully backing Clark out of fear it might disrupt the balance with its veteran stars? Did that hesitation stop them from protecting their biggest asset because they didn't want to look like they were playing favorites?
Thanks to Clark, Indiana led the league in attendance both at home and on the road. The Fever averaged 17,035 fans at home and over 15,000 on the road. 4 teams moved home games to bigger arenas when Indiana came to town to accommodate more fans. That's about Caitlin Clark.
Whatever the reason, the damage is done. Smith wasn't criticizing the WNBA just to stir drama. He was sounding an alarm. Clark's injury might keep her off the court for a few weeks, but the long-term impact could be much worse. Without a major course correction, this isn't just a hiccup. It's a potential collapse. And the league's leadership? They're steering straight into it.
Quad injuries can be tricky. A quad strain could mean you're out for a few weeks, or it could mean you're out for a few months. If it's the latter, it could mean that Caitlin Clark could potentially miss the rest of the season.
Caitlin Clark's injury didn't just take her out of the lineup, it exposed the WNBA's biggest weaknesses. The league failed its brightest star, revealing serious problems in leadership, player protection, and marketing strategy. This wasn't a fluke. It was the result of treating a generational talent like she was disposable.
Attendance for the entire league was up nearly 50% last year, according to data from across the timeline, and Indiana led all teams with an average attendance of 17,035. That was up 319% from the year earlier. 319%. 319%. All other teams still grew by double-digit percentages. So let's not forget that.
Now the real question isn't just about Clark's comeback, it's about the leagues. Can the WNBA build a system that actually protects and prioritizes its stars before it's too late? Because right now, they had lightning in a bottle, and it's slipping right through their hands.